Hey guys, Austin Ramos here. Today I'm going to be bringing you the Miami Dolphins against the New England Patriots in Miami at Hard Rock Stadium, 1 o'clock kickoff, Sunday, December 9th. And let's jump into the video.
Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team.
So the game is currently less than 24 hours away, and let's just look at some stuff to look in the past and see what both the Patriots and the Dolphins have done. So the Patriots just beat the Minnesota Vikings on Sunday Night Football this past week, 10-24. Wow. And I'm looking at some stats here, and one that just blows my mind out is just freaking how they've had 7 rushers total in the game, if you include Tom Brady, but realistically 6 rushers. And man, I mean, what is this? Like, they had Sony Michel, Julian Edelman, James White, Rex Burkhead, Cordell Patterson, and even James Devlin, their fullback, and then also Tom Brady, who reached a milestone of 1,000 yards and this and that. And I think he had one more rush, and that was the last kneel down. He made sure to kneel forward so he didn't get any negative yards. Real cocky Tom Brady. So he threw to 9 different receivers. The ball was just being spreaded out pretty well offensively when it came to rushing and passing, obviously. The Vikings have a decent defense, and now with Xavier Howard out this week, makes it a lot harder for the Dolphins to win this game, because last year when they played here on Monday Night Football, Xavier Howard came up with 2 interceptions on Tom Brady, and I mean, those were just spectacular grabs by him. And the Patriots defense was able to force 2 interceptions against Kirk Cousins, who's a decent quarterback in the league, but they always say he chokes on these primetime games, and this was a primetime game. There wasn't that much to take away from this game for the Patriots, but what I saw was just, like I mentioned earlier, they spread the ball out pretty well, and they ran the ball effectively, and they threw the ball effectively. Quite plain and simple what a football team should do. And they forced some turnovers that went their way. The turnovers weren't so like the turnovers for the Patriots causing, they weren't so, you know, huge, and like they, after that there was like a score or anything like that. It was more towards the late of the game, so it was kind of like desperate times for the Vikings and stuff like that. But still, they were able to force turnovers. Just how the game goes. Now, when it comes to the Dolphins, they had one of the lowest offensive outputs. I think this is like the 3rd lowest. The first one was the first Patriots game of the year, the one in week 4, and then comes the Jets game that was pretty recent. It was like 4 games ago, and then comes this last game against the Bills, 175 yards. I mean, we won, but we had a very low offensive output. I mean, if you look at it, the Bills had 415 yards of offense, and the Dolphins had 175. We didn't even have half of what the Bills had, and we still managed to win this game because of our defense forcing crucial turnovers, aka Xavier Howard, and he's not in there. So far this season, we haven't seen what the Dolphins look like without Xavier Howard, so it's going to be very, very weird to see probably McTyer. I know they're going to have Mink on the outside. They're probably going to possibly put Bobby McCain on the outside, but honestly, there's not much you could do because you have McTyer and then Tankersley. This is where the injury of Tankersley really affects the Dolphins, just because you don't have like that much of an experienced guy out there, because Tankersley pretty much played all of last season, and you know, something happens like this that we don't even have Tankersley to be able to play with us because it was a torn ACL. So then we had to see McTyer, probably Cornell Armstrong, and then we just brought up Jalen Davis, I believe. He was a guy in the practice squad. In the preseason, he wore like number 1. He was pretty decent. I think he got an interception against the Ravens, but we gotta see. So most likely we'll have Minka on the outside, probably Bobby McCain on the outside, and for all I know, Torrey McTyer on the slot, depending on the packages that the Dolphins select to roll out. So here are ways that the Dolphins can beat the Patriots. You gotta, first of all, discomfort Tom Brady, meaning like put pressure on him, make him feel super uncomfortable, because that's what we did really well on that Monday Night Football game last year. We started putting pressure on him, and then he was just, I wouldn't say he was making bad throws. It was just he was making throws that were playable for the Dolphins defense, and Xavier Howard was able to just come away with 2 amazing interceptions, plain and simple. Now with them, how they spread it out the ball rushing wise last game, we got to really like tone that down, make them. I'd rather have them have one main guy like going at us, but that's not the Patriots. They'll put in Rex Burkhead, they'll put in James White, they'll put in Sonny Michel, they'll freaking even give it to James Devlin, and then they'll have Julian Edelman just come around on an end around, stuff like that. And Cordell Patterson is like now as a what do you call it, like he's a flex player, so he's a running back and a wide receiver. So it's just really nuts what the Patriots are doing over there. The way that we beat them last time was forcing turnovers, plain and simple, and that's another thing that we need to do: force turnovers. Any way you can get them, if it's an interception, if it's a fumble, if you can steal a possession by getting a 4th down conversion. I mean, any way you can get the ball more in Miami's favor, if you can contain possession longer than the Patriots, then you're already in a good position to win this game. The Patriots are very well at time management and running out the clock and just doing that. Last but not least, we need to put up points. We need to put up points. Put up points, put up points, put up points. And plain and simple, you do not beat the Patriots without scoring. We could have beat the Packers if we would have scored touchdowns, but we didn't. We had 4 drives that ended in field goals that could have possibly ended up in touchdowns. We had 5 drives, really, but I'm not going to get into that. What I'd like to see from the Dolphins is utilizing Kenyon Drake very well out of the backfield, because he can run it and he can catch it. And then Frank Gore is just obviously our lead back, so he's just going to be grounding and pounding them. So, I mean, first drive of the game for the Dolphins, you know you're going to see Frank Gore get the rock right away. And I actually wouldn't be surprised if, because the Dolphins have done that every single freaking play, every single game, start off with a run. And that's normal for any NFL team. But what I think they should do is start off with play action, catch the Patriots off guard, and possibly break out a big play. Just start off the game. It would be really, really cool to see that happen for the Dolphins. So when I did the game picks with Matt, I set a pretty wacky score, but I think it's possible. And that's the Patriots 25, Miami Dolphins 28. Do I think it's possible? Yes. Do I think it's a really weird score? Definitely. But it's possible. And like I said, I think from the Colts game on, that pretty much every game is going to be a playoff game. We need to win, we need to win, we need to win. Because we're in the playoff hunt, and we need to just continue rolling and getting the ball rolling and getting these wins going. We did pretty well getting the win against the Bills. And that was a game that we didn't have a great offensive output, and then we end up winning because our defense steps up to the plate. And, you know, man, oh man, if Charles Clay would have caught that ball, it's just, wow, would have been a whole different story. From here on out, we just need to win. And we could afford to lose this game, but I don't like the thought of it, because then we'll have to possibly win 3 straight games. Rather win this game and possibly lose to Minnesota, if anything. And it won't even be that bad, because it's an NFC loss over an AFC loss. So, for those of you who don't understand, let's say Dolphins are AFC. AFC playoff works when you have more AFC wins, and like obviously your record's well, you're gonna be higher seeded than someone who has the same record as you and has, imagine, more NFC wins than AFC wins compared to you, and vice versa for NFC as well. So that's about it. Hopefully the Dolphins will get this win on Sunday, and it'll be very fun to be watching them play the Patriots, and hopefully they just do well. If you haven't done it yet, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @ByAustinRamos. I'll put the name over here. And then also, just check out my new article, actually. My article just released this morning. It's pretty much goes hand in hand with my video about the 3rd quarter of the season review. And if you enjoyed the video, give it a nice thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. And let's go Dolphins.
Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team.